Okay, in this one, it's after nuclear war has occurred, but we're focusing on North America. Yeah. So the first thing is, what we see is, I'm going to break everything down. Here's the U.S. ones. This is the West Coast, Republic of New England. This is the New Washington Republic. Then there's these other U.S. ones. This is like the Empire of Texas, Empire of California, and there's these two. Moving to Canada, the Greater Empire of Manitoba and Alberta. And then we have British Columbia, which I'll let you know why they're like just this. We have Alaska. Over there, that blue is Quebec, Newfoundland and Labrador. Right here is the new Republic of Ontario. Then they have two puppets. This is the first one, the Republic of New Brunswick, and the second one is Nova Scotia. Now the reason why they're that small, and this is like gray and stuff, is because this is known as no man's land. Basically, there's radioactive creatures lurking here, and that no one has dared to ever cross here. So right now, they're basically the only way that they can contact them is by going through here, or going through the Darren Adventure there. And something tells me these guys are not going to be too happy on them letting them go through there. Now, Alaska is basically, I got to say, is the most cut off and stuff, like the most alone, and because they basically have no one on the border except for the radioactive zone, the no man's land. Yeah. So after a while, people have started to come out, and I'll be doing two things. I might be doing a couple of things with this. I'm gonna play as Ontario right now, which I know that their flag resembles this. So anyway, after a while, they finally emerge from their bunkers, and they expand to this. And they also, before that, they also build some puppets there. After influencing them and staging the coup, because them two are about to say that we want to unite and take all the Maritimes, as well as some of the United States and stuff, and some of Quebec, and create a massive empire. And they have different plans. So that's why they've done that, because their plans you're about to see soon. Why do I always keep on going there? Anyway, so they named themselves the Republic of Ontario. Really, why does it have to tag? Democratic. Bro! Federal. There we go. So yeah, I'm just gonna have to change it to federal. So the federal gonna put provinces and not put in states because that's American. Do I really have to put states? I do not want to put it the American way. Like, it's supposed to be provinces are better. Provinces are like one of a kind. Okay, so hmm. Wait, I got an even better one. Confederation. Please not tag. I'm begging you. Thank you. So Confederation of Ontario. So we just have to do some experimenting. I gotta go shut my door because I'm getting cold and my brothers don't do it for me. Even though, like, they're the last ones out of the room. Alright, I'm back. So, after emerging from their bunkers and stuff, they have major ambitions to reunite Canada. Now, one thing is, they're not landlocked, but see, in the Hudson Bay, Quebec has more control because they can close them off to the Hudson Bay because of that island. And over here, if their puppets break away from them, they're going to be cut off as well. So, what are they going to do, you might wonder? Well, first, they're going to annex parts of their puppets, just like those two, because they're going to slowly annex them. Then, they gather up their military. First, they head to this island to naval invade here, and then they start marching into the Republic of Manitoba and Ontario. Not Manitoba and Alberta, oh my god. And they get to like here, and after quickly rushing down by there, they then surrender. So the peace treaty is, they don't lose much, but they lose quite a bit. This is basically all they lose. Not much. Anyway, meanwhile, these guys actually have managed to destroy destroy the radioactive creatures here, and they finally connected with each other. So meaning that they're less isolated, and they've also made some plans to head up north. And these guys have already are way ahead of them, and now they don't have to worry about being isolated. Let me just change to really red noise. Anyway, so now that they have more access to the Hudson Bay, they use that to take some islands up here, just in case they have to do a flanking maneuver. On Quebec, because they are preparing to go to war with Quebec. Now, at this time they declare war on them, and they quickly take that, as well as that, but then the Quebec army comes in, and they cut off them. But they were planning this. They also have some of their puppets troops right there, meaning that they were able to take this and this back. But they've also made a landing here, and they've also made an alliance with them, meaning that they take that, and they've got cut off from the Hudson Bay. Yeah, juicy. These guys finally have themselves reconnected. And after a war, like a long war, let's just say, this is the peace treaty. They're completely carved up, and uh, on the Confederation of Ontario is getting larger. Now, then they start to wait, annex even more until they eventually annex all of their puppet here, and they even annex some of this. So they're starting to annex a lot more. Now, meanwhile in America, these guys went to war, and they've lost that, and these guys went to war too, and they've completely got carved up. Now, Ohio decides to get their coast back. I'm just going to name it Ohio because it looks like Ohio. And they've even started a massive invasion of this, meaning that they're pushed back to there. And the Republic of New England is pushed back as well. Then the Republic of Washington actually managed to get these guys to join them. And with that, they started to invade the West Coast, the Republic of the West Coast. And they were quickly overwhelmed, not knowing how strong they were. And also because they were already fighting a war with New England. Because New England wanted to get this. So they made a peace treaty, and then now they're going to name themselves the New Republic of the U.S. Because they're not just like one bit anymore. And they started expanding. Now, New England and them start making a plan to destroy them as well as them and them because they do want some bits. So these guys are called in to attack first, and they push to there until they get held off. These guys come in, and the rest of their army has to hold there. Well, just a tiny bit holds like here. These guys then join in and start pushing. These guys come back in, and then these guys come in. And these guys are just like, you know what, I don't like being left out. So after a little peace treaty, this is what the borders are looking like now. Now, there's not many other wars happening except for like around here, because them guys are just, they're like a lot of like tiny ones there, and just a lot of instability. But over here is like not really anyone that can go anywhere. But these two do advance into Mexico. But they meet some more radioactive creatures, like in Canada, meaning that they won't go any further for now. But it's not as much as in Canada. It's only like in certain places. Now these guys just start invading them. But our main focus is over here, so let's go back to this. Now at this time, the Confederation of Ontario has annexed all their puppets, and they go to war with these guys. Instantly, they were not expecting this, and they even get naval invaded, and they just collapse. And now they control all of the eastern parts. Then they also have they also start invading these, and these guys didn't join in. Just trying to get rid of them because it's like a common enemy, because they could cause severe damage to all of them. Anyway, so now Ontario's like, you know what? We're not just Ontario. We're like a lot of other things. So they changed the name to the Confederation of Canada, and they even changed their flag too. Bruh. Why does it tag? There we go. Anyway, so after that, they start invading them again. But these guys are allies, so these guys join in and help them, and then at this area, it's basically just a stalemate. No, they ask these guys to join in to get some land over here, and they completely accept. Meaning these guys have to redirect some of their troops from here, which then leads in a breakthrough here, and they start to lose. But they are able to push them back to there, and actually are able to go up there because they have a weak military and not many people. But these guys have completely collapsed, and these guys are next until they're like, okay, let's surrender. Now, there isn't really harsh things for them, but Canada has annexed all this area here. And then Alaska is beefy. Beefy Alaska. Now, going back to the US, these guys do their first invasion of this, but they don't take much because it's like their very first invasion. They're just taking some stuff. These guys have like a little war, but then these guys didn't know what was gonna happen to them, and they just start getting absolutely clapped. And these guys just jump in. But anyway, New England starts to get surprisingly invaded, and all their major cities and stuff are taken. And now they're basically just holding on to like whatever population they have left. And they have completely collapsed after that, and these guys just decide to take that. But what they weren't noticing was Ohio came back for some reason. But they're like, we're gonna deal with Ohio later. Meanwhile, these guys just invade them more. Now, these guys go to war, and as expected, they rapidly collapse. There's nothing they can do. They don't have much population. It's freezing up there. Like, literally. Their most populated areas are down by there, and they get taken pretty quickly, meaning that Canada is larger, and they've finally taken almost all their stuff because they still have the tiny islands, but they don't really care about those islands. Because, like, what's the point in them if they, like, don't produce much? But these guys, they do their third invasion of this, pushing them back to here, and then they also invade a little bit of this with the help from some several countries, as well as these guys, which push them and expand. So we can see their collapse is starting to begin. And after a while, they just collapse. And then the United States finds these creatures and then fucks them up. Because they use kilometers. But these guys then just invade here. And they invade, they just invade there. And then America comes in saying, America, fuck no! And they just take that, allowing them to take that, like they just walk in there. And they start invading this. But anyway, that's basically it. But Canada has even better things that they want to do. First, they invade this. They invade here. For some reason, they just invade northern parts of Ohio, and Ohio can't do nothing. They invade the U.S. for some reason. And they start taking a lot more things from these guys. Because they're thinking that if they can get, like, a lot of population, they'll be unstoppable. So they invade, like, pretty much everything. And they do get a lot of population, actually. Well, a lot of area to build population, because they kick out all the Americans out of there. They just force them out, because they don't want any Americans living in their territory. And the USA is pissed about that, but they can't do nothing. Because then because then a lot of countries will get their revenge, and then these guys will probably, and the freaking mutants will probably, or whatever these things are, attack them too, and then, so, Canada's basically a superpower. And not to mention that, they also taken some stuff of that they also have made a land in Iceland, which we're not gonna worry about. Nah, we're not gonna worry about that. Nah. They also take that. Why the frig is that there? And but they also are like, even though I'm not happy with just controlling the Great Lakes, we need to also have some of this area, yeah. And same with what they did, they kicked out all the Americans. And I guess that they're their most populated country because, like, they're, like, if you could, like, go, like, 100 years in the future with this, I guess it would be, like, the most populated country in, like, North America at this point. But they also start to, die. Well, not Canada, but these guys. And then that'll be the end. Actually, I want to save this. Save map. I'm going to name it Random Gibberish. Yes, yay, the gibberish didn't, swell up. What? Anyway, goodbye, everyone. I hope you love this game. I'm going to peel over you guys now, so you better run.